Starting a business is one of the best ways to achieve financial freedom. I would dare say it's one of the only ways to achieve financial freedom. But the reality is the success rate of businesses is incredibly low. 90% of all businesses fail. 75% of venture-backed businesses fail. And as a first-time founder, even if you raise venture capital, your odds of success are only 18%. So that's the bad news. But the good news is there are fundamental laws of entrepreneurship that if you follow, you can drastically increase your chances of success. In this video, I'm going to cover 7 of the most important laws of success for entrepreneurs. If you're new here, my name is Michia. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been building businesses for the last 15 years, and I make videos just like this to help aspiring entrepreneurs like you. So law of success number 1 for entrepreneurs is play boldly. A lot of beginners violate this law. They think because they're a beginner, they can't shoot for the moon. They play small. They think, I'll just try to build a business that can make me $500 a month or maybe $1,000 a week. These are small dreams, and as a result, your business will always be capped by a small vision. And part of the reason this happens is beginner entrepreneurs think that a small business that's only trying to make a small or modest amount of income is going to be an easier business. This is false thinking. Business is always hard. And so what you need to do instead is play very large, play boldly, go for the stars, aim for the moon, because it's going to be hard either way. If you're starting a business that even if it goes super well, you will not achieve financial freedom, you will not achieve the life of your dreams, you're wasting your time. Play boldly. Now, on top of playing boldly, there's something very important you must do, which is manage personal risk. There's this stereotype of the broke founder who's maxed out credit cards on the verge of bankruptcy and gets that one call from the customer and they save the day. Listen, that does happen, but you don't hear about the stories where the person just goes bankrupt. And when that happens, they don't get a second chance. The reality is the odds of success in entrepreneurship are still small, even if you follow all the rules of success. So you need multiple at-bats to give yourself a higher chance of succeeding. This is often why you see many of the successful entrepreneurs came from wealthy families. It's not necessarily that their connections made it easy to succeed as entrepreneurs, but their wealthy families allowed them to fail multiple times until they got it right. Now, I didn't come from a wealthy family. I don't have that luxury. And so what I did is I tried to keep my personal burn really low, and I never took on personal risk. I was never maxing out my personal credit cards beyond what I could pay in a way that, like, if the business went belly up, I was bankrupt. Manage your personal risk. Give yourself time to develop the skills to succeed. Now, the third law of success is to make decisions fast. As a CEO, you're often required to make decisions with imperfect data. You don't have all the answers. You don't know what will happen if you make a decision. But if you do not make a decision, things will go sideways for you. The reality is people are scared to make decisions. So as the CEO, you need to be the one to make the call, take the shot. And a bad decision is much better than no decision, because a bad decision gets you data. When you make a bad decision, you get feedback from your customers, feedback from your target market, and they let you know whether or not that decision was right. And then from there, you can change and make the right decision. But if you never make a decision, you never get the data, the business doesn't move forward. The fourth law of success is to pick the right market. Market decision accounts for almost 50% of success in entrepreneurial ventures. This is why you often see CEOs getting fired, replaced, etc. The board of these companies know it's not just the CEO, it's the market. So they would rather keep the market and fire the CEO than keep the CEO and change the market. The market is going to drive so much of your success. And I made this mistake early on. Early on, my businesses were small markets. In fact, my first company, I was selling DVDs of myself teaching self-defense online. Talk about a small market. These days, I only go for multi-billion-dollar markets because I know even if I can get 10% of a multi-billion-dollar market, I might have a business that's worth a couple $100 million. And having met so many CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, I can tell you, yes, they're smart, yes, they're capable, but they're not more capable than the CEOs I know of 50 million or $500 million companies. They just had bigger markets. So pick big markets and your chances of success are much higher. The fifth law of success is hire slow, fire fast. Listen, I have never, ever met a CEO who felt they fired too fast. It always happens that you hire someone, you think they're gonna change the world, and you just want it to work out so well that you keep people too long. I've kept people for months longer than I should have, and it always hurts the business and it's hard to recover from. And the truth is, bad people don't just ruin their function or their department, they can ruin the entire company. No one wants to work with someone who is not pulling their weight, who is holding the company back, and as the CEO, sometimes they'll be scared to tell you. They might hint at it, but the rest of them feel it deeply, and you have a hard time getting there because you hired this person and you felt so strongly about them. My golden rule is, if I'm losing sleep multiple nights in a row, worrying about someone's work, worrying about if they're capable, if I made the right decision, it's time for them to go. So as soon as you start feeling that doubt, you know it's time to make the decision. It's not an easy decision, but it's the right decision. It's the right decision for you, it's the right decision for the business, and it's usually the right decision for them. It's better to move this person into a role where they can be successful than leave them at the company where the CEO thinks they're doing a bad job. Now the sixth law is double down on your strengths. Early on, it can seem like there's so much to learn as an entrepreneur. You need to learn sales, you need to learn marketing, maybe customer success. Maybe you're learning email marketing or how to building a landing page, or you're learning programming. With all these different skills, it can be overwhelming. Now, you need to know enough to be dangerous, but you don't need to be a jack of all trades. It's impossible. Instead, the best entrepreneurs double down on their strengths and make them superpowers. So if you're really good at sales, get even better at sales. Study sales and get so good at sales that you can sell anything. If you're good at marketing, same thing. Figure out what your superpowers are and work on improving those. Your goal is to get your superpowers so good that they get you through the early stages of the game. And then later on, once you have a large team, you have budget, you have funding, you can hire out people to replace your weaknesses. And this can be like core competencies of a CEO. Let's say you're really bad at managing people. You can literally hire a COO to manage your team, and then your COO will just report to you, so you don't have to manage a large team. You can hire out your weaknesses, but you need to have superpowers that carry the business forward. And the last law of success is to never give up. This is probably the thing that kills most businesses, is the founders just give up. And sure, maybe they're still running the business, maybe they're still going through the motions, but I've watched time and time again where they've actually given up. These CEOs are at work all day, rallying the team, telling them they're doing a great job, we're gonna take over the world, and then they go home at night and they look at job listings. They think that their future is over. This is mostly a mental thing. When you find yourself wanting to throw in the towel, when you feel like you want to give up, it should be a warning sign that something is stressing you out and you need to address it. Either deal with that thing that is stressing you out, or work on your overall mental stability. You can work on your meditation, you can go for a walk, you can take a vacation. Something is leading to burnout and making you want to give up. It's basically impossible to succeed as an entrepreneur without going through some failures. The only way you ultimately fail is you stop trying. And so I hope if you're setting out on this journey, or if you're already an entrepreneur, my advice to you is just don't give up. We've all been there, we've all called our friends and said we want to, but I'm telling you, it is worth it at the end. Now, if you've always wanted to start a business but have never taken that leap, I have great news. I just filmed a video on how to start a business even if you have no experience with no capital required, and I'll put the link right here. It'll give you everything you need to get started in your business. So click the link and I'll see you there.